2023 was a particularly time for me when playing Wi-Fi Draft. When we first wanted to launch the BBR to play in it, we were unfortunately stuck with the raw 20 minutes timer, which, although it was playable to still finish match on this format, it was just overall not fun and just limited what we were able to play. Basically, it was basically offense or just get time up by playing defense. It was a not fun format. It was very limited on what we were able to use. So, with no way to change the timer at all, we all felt that Wi-Fi was finally getting to a close for draft. But a little time later, we got to announce of a new mini tournament thing that allowed us to play with a different rule set and also include a new timer system that allowed for draft to get a revival finally. And this was huge. We were able to not only play on Wi-Fi with no restrictions at all, we even got some people that played draft before but stepped away in Gen 8 to come back. So we were able to relaunch BBR once again to play in it. Of course, those people also brought their viewers with them. So obviously, some new names that were never heard before got to be mentioned. Me very much included. Obviously, I'm very small in context of video making and everything, since I only upload mostly to do draft league battles to play with my friends. So when people obviously heard of me, it was just like someone that just played draft when everybody stepped away and all of that. And after this season of BBR ended, I was able to finish at semifinals. A very good place for me to end, and I was able to mark my name in to the public. Then after that, was released, and we launched BBR once again. This time, adding the Pokemon that were added with Pokemon Home. Unlike the previous season, however, I failed to make playoff as I was literally one place away from making it. Very close to playoff. Sucked a little bit, but nothing much. Just something that you get just brush off later. And after that, when the first DLC came out, the Teal Mask, we launched the GBU as a new league just to differentiate the BBR to not run it every single time. In this one, I finished as one of the lower seeds, so not near the playoff standing at all. Now, obviously, each players can have their ups and downs when playing games. Obviously, not everybody comes out winners after all. But for me, after making such a big impression, then to just finish so low in the following two next, that sucks a little bit. Now, obviously, nothing that I was frustrated about or anything. I just wish I did better than what I shown at first glance. Now, it is 2024. The BBR is back once again, this time playing in the second DLC, the Indigo Disc. And obviously, being that the storytelling is said that this is the time to be at the top now, I have no power on this. I don't know what will be the result of everything in the near future. All I can say is that I want to just do better every single time. I want to see how I can perform if I don't hold as back as I normally do. Because yes, I love to use those underappreciated Pokemon or those that feel are just not used enough, which is of course one way to play the game. Not forced to play it like that, of course. Everybody has a preference. But I want to see what happens when this time all of my Pokemon will put in their work. I want to see how far I can go. Because in that way, this is a challenge for me. I'm so used to use Pokemon that are normally not known much. So what happens if I use Pokemon that are so very, very known to other players? So with that in mind, and with me not knowing what to say next, welcome to the new season of the BPR, which I completely forgot which season it is now because there's so many of them. Let's just say just a new season of BBR, and this is a draft analysis. So let's get down to business. I said let's get down to to business. I said, down to business. Professional YouTuber at your service. So, for this new iteration of the BBR, I need some music backgrounds. Like the professional PokeTuber. There you go. Alright. With all those fails at doing the freaking analysis, now time to be serious. So for this new season of BBR, like I tried to say since earlier, we are 16 coaches with some new face to the competition with the second DLC. So obviously, in the draft setting, I got 11th. Near the middle, but near the end, not a good place to start. A lot of Pokemon got to be picked before I was able to get my hand on something. And although some good Pokemon were left for me to pick up, so yeah, you know, your mention of like Urshifu Single Strike, Garchomp, Tornadus, Palafin, and all that, I wanted something new. Something unfamiliar that I was, of course. You know, because I'm still me. I still want something new, but that is of course good. And I don't see why I'm not saying his name now because I'm literally showing it on my screen. But I decided to be the new Toy Syndrome guy by drafting the Pokemon from the Indigo Disc itself, Terapagos. Now, going over what Terapagos is as a Pokemon. So this is the baby form, as you can see. Pretty pathetic. But that's the thing. It fights not like this. The moment it hits the field, it transforms into its Terastall form. So if I can just show you 1 second. So if I do this, and then this, Terastral, I think this is like this, say, that's not how it works. Repeat. Sure, I'll just search it in the taskbar. Give me my Terapagos. Yeah, Terastall, there you go. Much better. So, already, stats are much better. Pretty much all around it, not a single stat that is mainly focused more than others. Very bulky and decent special attack. Which I would say the speed being the only downside, with 85 not being that great for a Pokemon with all around stats, because you're either not as bulky as you want or just not as strong as you want. But there's some silver lining to this, such as its ability, Terra Shell, which is basically better multi-scale, as it basically makes the next attack you take at full SP will be not very effective. If you compare this to Dragonite, if you were to get hit by an ice move, it will still take 2 times damage. If it's a rock move, it will be neutral damage. With Terra Shell, it will always be times 2 less damage, no matter what. With the only downside, I would say it just has poor synergy with weakness policy, because it transforms the move into not very effective, which Dragonite can take advantage of with multi-scale in comparison. Besides that, as a normal type, it gets a lot of move. Pretty much, it gets at least one special attack from every type besides flying and ghost. Those are the only 2 types of move it doesn't learn anything. Besides that, it has a coverage that is at least around 80 or 90 base power for every move. It also gets some other super move like Stealth Rock, Toxic, Roar, Rapid Spin. So, of course, there's also something else to mention. Of course, Terapagos is known to have, it's a stellar form once terastallizing. This is something I don't have access during play. We have low tier Terra Captains, so Terapagos is prohibited from using its Terra form. This is the form that I'm locked to use in, which I think is fine because I have the best abilities of all 3 forms, basically better multi-scale. So, yeah, of course, it has a signature move. Terra Starstorm, as you can see right here. It's 120 base power, normal type. It has its full potential when terastallizing, but without it, this is what it can do. So, pretty strong move, low PP, but not a bad move per se. The only thing I would say is that because the move is so strong, it pretty much does the same damage as a coverage type. Like, if you were to use Surf on a fire type, it would be 180, but with Terastorm, it will also be 180, except it can hit every other type for neutral as well. So in theory, Terastorm is better in every situation. The only good thing about the coverage is that I can run things for Rock, Rock, Steel, and Ghost type that will normally block Terastorm. And of course, so either I can be just an out attacker trying to hit hard with the coverage, or I can be a sweeper because it has Rock Polish with its speed and Calm Mind to make its offense a little better. So it's just basically a choice of what do I want. Do I want to go double setup move with only 2 attacks, or do I want one setup move with 3 attacks? And of course, defensive is also not bad at all. Although it lacks recovery, it has good support move with Toxic being limited and Rapid Spin removing hazards. And again, Terra Shell can be restored to its full as long as it reaches full HP. So either with leftovers plus stalling, or just rest. So overall, it's a new Pokemon, which I am also pretty sure that there's no other Wi-Fi league that allowed it at all. So I think I'm the only one that will use it on Wi-Fi, at least from my knowledge. I'm sorry if there's another Wi-Fi league that allows this Pokemon, if there's someone else that is going to use it. But yeah, from my knowledge, I'll be the only one that's going to showcase Terapagos on Wi-Fi without its Terraform. So next, I stayed in the new toy train to use stuff by drafting a Pokemon that wasn't even released at the time of when we started drafting, let alone when I'm recording this draft analysis. But by the time it will be up, the Pokemon will be out, so you'll be fine to talk about it until then. And if you know about it, then you know it's gonna be the Pecharunt, the master of the Loyal Tree. So again, little explanation needed on what this Pokemon is. It is a Poison Ghost type, so the same type as the Gengar line, except it is the mythical Pokemon of Gen 9. Because not only is it only available for an event, but it has a 600 base stat total. So for a stat, they are distributed in a special way. It is base 88 across the board, so weaker than the likes of Mew and Jirachi, except its defense, which is buffed up to 160. Which makes it physically bulkier than Pokemon like Skarmory, Toxapex, or Deoxys defense. On the physical side, that is, of course. But special defense doesn't have to be neglected. After all, since its defense stat is so high, you can just for max HP, be already super broken on the physical side, then just max up its special defense to make it harder to take out on both sides. Its ability, Poison Puppeteer, it confuses the target if Pecharunt badly poison or poison the target. Not an ability necessarily broken, just one that will just annoy my opponents. And speaking of poisoning the target, that's what Pecharunt specializes into, as it knows, of course, Toxic as a poison type would, and of course, its signature move, Malignant Chain. 100 base power special accurate with 50% to badly poison, so basically it's a buffed up version of Poison Fang. Now, obviously, poison types and steel types are immune to poison, and if I were to do a comparison to Pheasantipede, another Pokemon that loves to poison the target because of Toxic Chain, Pheasantipede has a hard time to deal with those types because it's a partial fairy type, so it's neutral to poison, it's weak to steel, and has no moves to hit them for any meaningful damage. Its best shot is just to U-turn out of everything, and just forcing those poison and steel type to bring a partner that can abuse them like a ground type, or if they want to stay, then to just maybe get the Toxic Chain via the U-turn. With Pecharunt, on the other hand, opposing poison and steel type for the majority of them cannot break it. Again, the defense stat is so high, its typing is much better against opposing poison type, and it possesses moves that allow it to win the 1v1, such as Nasty Plot if he wants to just get stronger with more powerful Shadow Balls. You can also use moves like Curse because it's bulky and also access to Recover to just recover it off the Curse. Of course, other moves like Acid Spread I can mention, and even some sets that can use Mean Look to trap the Pokemon and just win the 1v1 from there. And then of course you have your other moves for damage like Foul Play, Gunk Shot, and Poltergeist, or even Nightshade if you're not confident in the damage output at all. So, pretty simple Pokemon, but one that I'm intrigued, especially because of how high its defense stat is. Because remember, because it's more bulky than Toxapex, which Toxapex is a Pokemon that will normally stay on Landorus Tyrion's Earthquake, Well, to be fair, Terapagos has Regenerator, so he has an excuse to just dip after that. But again, that's just to demonstrate any other physical attacks that are weaker than such a move that Pecharunt is weak to will just bounce off of it. So pretty interesting Pokemon that I want to use, which I also thought was a good pairing with Terapagos to help its offense getting a little better. And also it's like a powerful fighting resist, in this case immunity for Terapagos, that is its only weakness outside of the Terra Shell. So again, in the same reason, I think this Pokemon that is actually not in any other draft league. Because again, it was unreleased at the time. We allowed it because we were about to start during its event dropping. So I was able to get it. And I am curious to see how it goes. But I think I failed to mention that it has Parting Shot as well. Another move that is great for it, obviously. Now, from now on, everything is a Pokemon that has already existed before, so the explanation should be a lot more easier, and I think I should just mention how were my draft ideas, plans, and everything. So next, I needed power, I needed speed. I thought about Pokemon like Iron Bundle and Zarude, but I settled on Weavile because I wanted that speed and power and reliability. Bundle missed Hydro Pumps, which is not good with accuracy. And then Zarude, although strong, has incredible typing synergy with Pecharunt. It wasn't a speedster. Weavile is just that, one of the strongest knockoff abuser in the game because of how fast it is. And as also a secondary ice typing that just brings even more pain, especially because it got triple Axel back. Just a Pokemon that is very hard to wall, and even if you were to wall it, knockoff removing your item just makes you worse in the long run. And I have Pokemon that just can stand in the long run, which is nice for me to have, obviously. So then it's just a matter of what do I want. Do I want boots to avoid hazard? Do I want choice band? Do I want life orb? Do I want something else? I don't know. Do I want source dance? Do I want to be just a lot of attack with priority at the end? Really, Weavile is simple to use, but it's so effective. It's such a danger to face off against. Next, I wanted to go back in the utility of typing, especially a ground type because of how good they are. The ground type were starting to get picked a lot, so I needed to secure a good one now. And I didn't know which one to get. So after some looking into the doc and just hoping that it was in fact still there and just fit my team overall, I tried to settle on Landorus, like just regular Landorus with Sand Force. Because I thought, yeah, but its typing is still great. It still has a good feature of my team. It can hit still pretty hard. It can be either physical or special. It can even use a bulky set that can use Scorching Sand to just make it even more annoying. But that was with just Landorus Sand Force I wanted to do this. Because I learned that we did not ban Sheer Force at all. Which I was surprised because Landorus was still on the board after all this time. I have one of the strongest special attackers in the game. Which is great, because again, I had a fast and strong physical breaker, so having a still fast but not as fast special breaker was appreciated, especially one with a great typing. So then it just mattered what do I want to use. I mean, Landorus with Sheer Force is pretty simple. Use Earth Power, use coverage, say Sludge Wave, or Focus Blast. You just hit hard. There's no Rock Polish, but it's fine. You just hit hard. That's literally that's literally his game. Hit hard. Nothing else to say here. Next, I settled on Sylveon. Pretty good special bulk. Pairs well with Pecharunt that has good physical bulk. And again, pretty simple Pokemon. Can be pixelated to at least have a stronger damage output than normal with Hyper Voice. It can Wish Iron for the team. Also Wish, another great move to have to help Terapagos regain his Terra Shell back. Then after that, the move is a bit bland, but you can see some little options that can be fun. You know, like Yawn, or Roar, or Quick Attack if you want to finish off something with low HP. You also have dual screens. You can also move like things like Calm Mind to be stronger, boost your special defense. I could see moves like Curse or Baby Doll Eye to be honest, because dropping the opponent's attack stat will make Sylveon harder to break. Heck, maybe even moves like Copycat if there's a move that I want to steal for myself. Yeah, pretty simple Pokemon, but a good fit for the team nonetheless. Next is a particular case. Originally, I wanted to get my Terra Captain now. But originally, I wanted Servine to be my Terra Captain because I did some calc, and yeah, you have either Terra for a secondary type like Fire or Rock, or you go Stellar, but I realized the damage output of Grass was actually pretty nutty. So I thought it would be a fun Pokemon to use, especially because it just replicates what Superior would have done. But the more the draft went by, the least confident I was about Servine now. Because yeah, I know the grass is a pretty easy type to resist, so it would be surprising to at least see a Fuja with a Pokemon that resists 4 times grass. But still, that kinda started to discourage me a little. So originally, I put Porygon 2 as a backup Terra Captain to replace himself because I really had no idea. Because I thought like if I don't find anything else, I will be fine with Porygon 2 because it is similar to Terapagos, so I'll be able to overwhelm with those two Pokemon at the same time. But like Servine, I started to fell down a bit for Porygon 2. So instead I got to use options like Milotic, which I thought will be good with Fairy because it learns Draining Kiss, and also Wild into Fairy is basically how you want to use your Terra on a water type. But Melodic has no way to really boost its special attack outside of like Throat Spray, so I didn't feel like those Draining Kiss would matter. I also thought about Gudra, that I will use with Terra Water to pair with abilities like Sepsiper or Hydration, especially on Rain Dance set, because I can either just... Can I type? Thank you. Because I could use Rain Dance plus Scald plus Rest, and either be just a rain machine that just never dies, or I can just use Sepsiper and Beam to a Grass type. Again, those are good Terra Pokemon, but I didn't go with any of them. So you might think that I did go for Terra Garganacle, but no, I didn't. It's just that because I picked up Porygon 2 as a panic pick, I still had it for my draft, and I waited during Grace once draft was done to trade it away. And I got Garganacle instead because I thought it was a good fit for my team, give me a rock setter other than Terapagos or Landorus, and Sarcure is also a pretty annoying move to deal with. Because now I force more item diversity on my opponents. Either boost to avoid the rocks, or cover cloak to avoid the Salt Cure. Or, cover cloak for meddling your chain on Pecharunt, if I don't want to use Toxic. But besides that, it does what Garganacle does. It can use Iron Defense Body Press, it can use Curse, it has Recover for longevity. There's another and good other physical tank that can use. It's just whole reliable, nothing else to say about it. And now, the real low tier star of the team outside of Terapagos and Pecharunt, Araquanid. And yes, this guy is the Terra Captain of the team. Now, for information, it's one Terra Captain in the low tier as long as it's not Terra Ben, and you choose 2 types of your choice. For the case of Araquanid, obviously water. There's no debate. Water has to be one of the type because Araquanid has absurd damage output with Liquidation, Terra Water, and Water Bubble. So much so it can outdamage Dracovich's Vicious Rants. And that's assuming that Dracovich has the boosted Vicious Rant in the first place too. And Araquanid doesn't need speed to ensure it gets max damage out of its attack. Yeah, and also, even something else that is also good for the team, Sticky Web, which now forces the debate of item of my opponents even harder. Because now they need boots for not only rocks but also for webs, but they also need cover cloak for Garg, but they also need like Rocky Helmet to try and punish Weavile's knockoff. Really, now my opponents will have to choose hard to decide what to do with their Pokemon. And again, Araquanid can just hit hard in its own right, because Liquidation hits so hard. Heck, I'm just surprised Pokemon was able to stay for so long and even beat Terra allowed. So I'm glad that I was able to realize that Araquanid was there, and I hope I'll have fun with it. Oh, also yeah, my second Terra type is Steel. Just a great defensive type, and Water Bubble transform what would be a Fire Weakness into a neutrality. And of course, my other weaknesses, ground I have to fear what I move on the switching anyway. And fighting types, I have some great resist to fighting. So yeah, I think I choose the two best side for Araquanid. I was close to choosing electric because ground's my only weakness. But I'm still okay with steel as a whole. Now that we have, of course, a rather bulky team, let's wrap it up with some speed just to end it all. I got Ace Elf, which is pretty fast. It can be either a physical, special, mixed attacker, or a great lead to set up hazards or screens, and boom. Really, it has a pretty good move pool, and has good offensive stats to make use of them. So, not the best psychic resist because my team is not that well suited with the psychic type, since my dark type is frail. And my steel type is only Araquanid if I go Terra Steel, but I felt like it was fine. Since my team was just had so much good qualities going for it. Like, it has a lot of bulk, it has a lot of power, so I felt like it was fine. So it's just one type in Psychic isn't necessarily the most popular offensive type anyway. I also have more momentum for the team, which is good. Then the most important, like the last Pokemon that is mostly relevant is Sweet and Lilligant. Again, a little bit more speed is appreciated, and also it adds me a sweeper because of its signature move, Victory Dance, basically physical quiver dance. It also has other useful moves for the team, especially Healing Wish, another way to restore Terapagos to its full HP for Terra Shell. Even moves like Encore, the Fog. And of course, Lilligant is an attacker more than a support Pokemon, but Grass and Fighting is actually pretty good against ground types, especially so I have a Pokemon that can reliably the Fog away as if I feel like to, especially because the Fog has good synergy with Hustle. To make sure that if my opponent were to switch out next, I can just the Fog, remove Hazard, and then just don't care about my ability at all. But obviously, I don't even need to use them. It's just that the option is there if I want to play with the Fog. Beside that, Lilligant just hits hard because Hustle plus Grass Fighting, and then can hit the Flying types with Axel or Ice Spinner. Actually, if you're using also Lilligant, don't use Triple Axel. Like it hits depending if you get the accuracy check, and with also it has terrible synergy. So only use Axel if you're not using Axel. So just use Chlorophyll, then you can use Triple Axel. If you're using Axel, use Ice Spinner. It's more simpler like this. Well, technically I also have one last pick. And that's Oshawott. I had only 1 point left, so it's not like I would have gotten something useful out of 1-pointers. Maybe a Pika clone, but I felt like my team as such was good quality that I decided to not bother and just get something funny. Now, I know it will remind of you guys of Lechonk, that I was like, oh, if I get to playoff, I can use it last week. I don't think I will this time. Instead, I want Oshawott to be the bench warmer of the team. It will just stay on the bench, and will just cheer for his team to win. And yeah, that is our draft for this season of the BBR. Again, I cannot guarantee us doing better, but this is what I want. I want to do better, better team, and better everything. I will make sure to play to the best of my ability. If I make a mistake, so be it, but I want to focus on quality a lot, especially. Maybe not quality in how I make the videos, but just the match themselves. Like good match to watch. And I hope our team will accomplish this because we have so good qualities going for it. And on that, I hope this little why is speaking so hard? I hope this pleased you guys to see me to be back again to play in the Indigo disc. I'll just stop talking now because I'm at loss of words. Bye bye. We'll see each other for week 1. Bye bye.